Well, good morning on this very first day of November. We got a lot of work ahead of us again on the farm. So let's get all this stuff, head on down to the field, get this morning started. Oh, this is bringing back memories to harvest season. Actually here where I live, some early mornings, a little cooler mornings in November, getting out into the cornfield, a little foggy out. Not too terribly far. We have seen some foggy days like this before, but nothing like this. This is, you can hardly see all the way down the lane. So it is pretty foggy out. Got to make sure that we don't run into nobody. Pop ourselves out the camera view and just make sure that no cars are coming. And I think we're good. All right, let's fire up the corn header. We got to get ourselves kind of a spot that we can kind of open up. Yeah, there we go. Got to get ourselves into a little spot that we can get the semi in and the grain cart in, the catch wagon. Let's back ourselves up. Just kind of open up this end of the field so that way we can get ourselves everything in. This field got planted with a 12-row corn planter, and our head is only 8 rows, so some of the rows are going to be kind of goofy, which we'll just have to deal with it. Next season, we do have the Kinsey 16-row planter, which is going to work a lot better for the corn head that we have on this combine. The rows will actually line up a lot better when you get to some of them goofy where they meet each other. Now, I have a feeling that this field's going to do us pretty good for yield. So I'm thinking we could probably get the semi. We're going to probably want to get that semi drawn down along the back edge this direction so we can have it facing out the driveway. We'll continue to get the rest of this corn picked out in this general direction. We'll have to go up and grab the auger cart. Bring it down so that way we got something to dump into. Yeah, see, like right there, we get a little bit of a goofy rows there. All right, I think we're going to go down and back. We'll kind of get this lane opened up. But this corn is looking really good. It's nice and tall. I don't think that we had a lot of damage from this summer with any storms or anything like that. But once we get into fields, it's always easier to see the damage if there was some things sometimes. Well, this is a pretty good sign if we're already almost, we're 66% full. I'm just going to kind of continue to straight, and we'll kind of maneuver ourselves around. Get this field opened. Watch for cars there coming by. Sorry about that. They got a little scared, it looks like. We weren't going to back into them by any means. Heck no. That'd be silly of us. All right, get that little section. Try to get ourselves a little open area. I don't think we're going to probably be able to make it back down all the way, but this will end up fine because the auger wagon can get underneath us in this general direction. So let's just see if we can cut into this and get ourselves down. Looks like we're going to be full, so let's get ourselves backed up. Let everything wind down. We'll leave everything running. No sense of shutting it off this early in the morning. All right, we're going to go around, grab the semi, and we're going to grab the grain cart, get everything set down here and ready to rock and roll. All right, well, we got the 4440. We're going to head down, get the combine unloaded. So that way that thing can continue to go, and we'll get this first partial load of the combine onto the semi. All right, we'll get the auger swung in and take off again. I think we'll be able to get some of that stuff down along the pond opened up as well. Give ourselves a little bit bigger room to turn around the semi in the cornfield. See if we can sneak in back behind it. I think we can, just like that. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Just like that. Opening up the cornfields can always be a challenge, especially when you got very, very long rows. You got to be very watchful for how you're going to get yourself out and maneuvered around, and don't get yourself stuck to the point where you can't, you're completely full and you can't get anything unloaded. So you'd have to watch out for that. Looks like we could probably do some tree clearing as well. Scrapes up a little bit against the combine there. Look, we could do some brush clearing this fall as well. All right, so we're 38% full. Let's get ourselves notched in and get ourselves turned around. We should be able to just dump this directly right on the semi and continue picking and opening this whole thing up. Looks like we'll have to back up and get ourselves little spots that we kind of missed. See if we can get a little bit more of this opened. Gotta get you kind of crazy how much room you actually need with, especially with some of this big equipment that we get to operate nowadays in real life. You need a lot of room to turn some of this stuff around. I'm hoping that I have something worked out where we can lease one of the fields and get ourselves some more acres of soybeans and corn. Still be able to feed our cattle, feed our pigs, but also some of this row crop stuff is get some of this row crop stuff so that way we have more income coming into our account, because we still have quite a bit of a loan. We got a $75,000 and like an $85,000. We got some loans we got to pay off. Getting some pretty good yield off of what we've already picked so far. This is pretty good. Okay, we're going to leave the combine. I got to run over and we need to grab the 4440. How many of you guys in the beginning of the season that run grain cart and do all that kind of stuff, how long does it take you guys to get that exact spot where the semi is in comparison to where the grain cart, auger, and stuff sit? Sometimes it takes me a little while, a couple turns to get myself where I can get myself so I can basically just almost do it with your eyes closed at some points. But it takes a little bit of practice to get that perfect swing in there so you're just about center on the semi-trailer, kind of dusting off the old cobwebs at the beginning of the season. We're going to run this up to the bins. We'll get everything dried down, and then in January, it looks like it's the best time to be selling the corn to get the most profit off of the harvest. So, okay, now it's time to hop back into the combine and make sure that we can get ourselves around the field. First off, let's pick up this little stragglers right here. No sense of running them over. Oh, I can't wait till this fall to be able to bring you guys some more content from out into from in the field, some real life farming stuff. Hopefully, we'll be able to get the drone up in the air, do some stuff this spring, get some planting stuff done, some spring tillage work done, and then even into the fall time with harvest and fall tillage and things like that. So I'm kind of excited for that, for you guys to be able to see kind of the side of things coming from real life. So hopefully some of that stuff will be coming out to you guys in due time, obviously. Man, this just brings back so much memories. I thoroughly just enjoy sitting in a combine harvesting corn. Beans I don't particularly care for. I hate watching the reel go round and around, but corn is just, I don't know what it is. It's just so mesmerizing and just relaxing. All right, well, let's see wow, did that fog really set in there. Holy cows. It is still early morning, so some of that fog still hasn't burnt off yet. Now, if you guys remember in the last episode, we talked a little bit about some fall tillage. I think we want to go that route. Just because of the way the game is all working and things like that, I think we're going to have to do that in terms of getting the crops to work properly with some of this stuff. I know some things are in the work from Thundar, but I haven't had a lot of time to just sit down and kind of tinker with things just because I've been busy trying to make other content as well. Don't think I'm going to make it back. Oh, it's going to be close. Let's risk it. It's going to be close. Yep. Not going to happen. Well, I think at this point we could probably just drive this back to the grain cart and unload it. We're not going to even dump it on the grain cart. We're just going to throw it right on the semi. That should top the semi off with this, and we might have to put the extra onto the auger wagon. Nope, not quite getting it all on there. Sometimes that is what it is. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get the tractor full, and we're going to get the combine full, and then we'll take things up to the shed, or then we'll take things up to the bins to get everything unloaded. Let's do this. Let's take this path back towards that direction because it's kind of silly to go pick that and then have to drive back. So we're going to pick this little section towards that little spot that we stopped at. Things fired up. Hammer it down. And away we are off again. So this is the part of the difference in planting width and corn head width. Is it's going to leave us basically a single roll at the end of the ups and downs, which we'll be able to deal with. We'll be able to deal with that, no problem. But it is going to be so much nicer once we get the planting season next year with the proper width of the corn head to the bean, or with the proper width of the planter in comparison to the number of rows on the corn head. Well, we're full with the combines. Let's head down. That is full. The grain cart is not quite full, so we should be able to pick. I'll have to go grab that. Bring that down here, top it off, and then we can pick a couple of these end rows and get ourselves full on the combine, and then we'll take the semi up and get it unloaded up in the yard. All right, I'll get baby all fired up. Let's head on up to the yard. Make sure we got no cars coming. And hammer it down. Hammer it down. Looks like about right there might do us good. Let's get the 1486 fired up. Should be able to swing that underneath. Like everything should be good to go there. All right, let's double check, make sure our hopper looks pretty good. There we go. Just had to back up just a bit and get that stuff unloaded, and then we should be able to drive straight forward, and then we'll have to back everything up again, obviously, when that gets done unloading. Going into the bins. We'll have to move it again in, most of it's going to get moved in January, I do believe. I believe that is when that's when the... Let's see, dried corn. January is roughly the peak time to sell your corn, so we'll sell that then. All right, let's get switched to that side. The back up, there we go. This trailer does have kind of a very small window, it seems like, but it works good. Works good for what we're using it for. There we go. That's unloaded. Get this thing swung back out so we can pull around and go get loaded again down at the field. All right. Well, we got some bushels to put onto that baby. We'll grab the 500. We'll grab the 4440. Get that filled up first. See if we can get this nailed on the first try with our turning up. Just get perfect in there. We'll find out. My guess is we need to be roughly with our front wheel 3 rows out is where I'm guessing, which is about right where we have it. I could be wrong though. Nope. I am... Look at that. Dang near perfect. Dang near perfect. Yep, roughly about 3 rows. You could maybe call that 4. We'll let that unload. Let's go grab the combine. We'll just unload this quick. And then everything can kind of just sit there as we'll just drop this off in the back hopper. All right, let's head and let's work on getting those other end rows finished up. That way we can just continue to go up and down. All right, we got the semi completely full. We're just going to be filling up the auger wagon itself. We'll have a little bit left on the combine, and we'll have everything up on wheels that need, then we'd be able to take the 4440 back towards the semi and take that back up and unload it into the bin. Getting a little bit of progress done. Got the end rows all off. Working on finishing up this little spot along the road that's kind of separated there by that tree, a little bump out. So we're going to finish getting this all picked up. I don't think we'll be close. I don't think we'll get the rest of this on the combine, but I could be wrong. Get that done, and then we just have the long rows, a lot of up and downs to get done, and this field will be knocked out. Well, we're getting the last couple loads into the bin. We do have the combine and the grain cart all full. Getting the last back end of this hopper. We are sitting at 153,144 liters of corn off of that field. That's quite a bit, to be honest with you. We're gonna head back towards the field and we're gonna get the last, I'm hoping, the last loads of the corn off of that field. We'll get this semi headed back down to the field for hopefully the last time. All right, so this looks like this is going to be the last, I'm really hoping the last load onto the semi. Maybe. It's going to be real close. We got this. The combine is full, and there's about 2 passes left, potentially, of corn. I'm hoping the rest of this will fit on the semi. It will be very, very close. We'll find out here very shortly. Well, we're coming up to the very last stretch here on this field, and man, this was a big, big day to get all this corn harvested. We got probably close to 200,000 liters of corn picked today. That is a big chunk. Everything should end up on the semi. Well, this feels good. We just got the field completely picked other than just some stragglers down there, but we'll get them a little bit later. If you guys did enjoy this content, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one.